Yes, people, welcome back to the One True Red podcast. And it's been a week where Arsenal have crashed out of the Champions League semi-final tournament that some of our participants have thought that Arsenal were going to win. But is Arsenal season over, Uche?
Arsenal season is nothing but
failure. What's going on?
No, yeah, you're right. It's not just that it's over. It is definitely a failure. Because let's look at some facts, right? This is now the 5th season with that guy in charge, right? The 5th consecutive year where they've come up with nothing, absolutely nothing to show for it. During that time, we've had other Premier League teams, such as West Ham, win things. Leicester City have won things. You've got Chelsea have won. Manchester City have won. And soon it could be Spurs or Manchester United winning things on top of what Manchester United has already won. Arsenal, on the other hand, has been a spectacular failure. Yet another abject. They said the coach were talking about being the best team, blah, 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 and how they played well in the Champions. No one wants to hear that, man. You ain't got nothing to show for it. The bottom line is you're out of all competition yet again. When it matters, when it comes to April, May, you're nowhere to be seen. You guys go into hiding. So it absolutely has been a spectacular failure. Is there anyone going to even try to defend this kind of stuff? Even the 2 Arsenal members cannot do this, surely.
Do you know what I find amazing is that a team can reach the semi-final of the Champions League and then fans are saying it's a failure. How idiotic is that? Arsenal season is a failure because we didn't win the Champions League. Is that where
okay? So it's a success. Have you got a parade I'm missing about? What's the parade? Tell me.
Nothing about parade. You said failure. Nobody's saying
he's a failure because you might not even make the Champions League.
Arsenal get into the semi-finals. Arsenal getting to the semi-finals of the Champions League is a failure. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
What would have been Arteta's target?
Oh dear.
What would have been Arteta's target at the beginning of the season, Mikey?
To do better than last.
No. So like, as in what?
I just told you.
Second. Oh, what? To win the league then?
To do better than last. We've come up short in the league and we've done better in the Champions League.
What about the cups?
I don't care about cups. We know my views on them, so you can.
Yeah,
comment
but what you care about? It's about a big club. Big club with
you can comment on West Ham winning the Conference League. You can comment on Chelsea winning the Conference League this season. You can comment on United or Spurs winning the Europa League. I don't care about none of them cups. I'm literally not bothered. Like the value of those cups is so low; they're not even on my radar. I don't care.
That's not true. I mean, I don't mind, but
true.
that's just not true. In the last 5 seasons, no, it's not. Because in the last 5 seasons, when you actually were in the Europa League, you also couldn't win it. So this is a mentality issue. You've been
right. So that you can be clear, when we were in the Europa League, teams were dropping out of the Champions League, and we're in it. Okay, it wasn't a watered down version. It wasn't a watered down version. The Champions League expanded. Listen, the Champions League's expanded, so it's taken other teams away from Europa, and then none of those teams drop into the competition. It's a dynamic
competition, guys.
Who knocked you out of that
competition?
Who knocked you out of the Europa when you were in it?
You tell me.
I'm asking you. You're the fan.
Tell me.
I don't know.
You don't
I'm asking.
know.
I'm genuinely asking. I don't know. No, I don't. Tell me, who is it? Who was it?
Next.
Was it a mighty club that that's well known and renowned and feared? Was it Real Madrid that knocked you out of the Europa? I just want to know. Tell the fans, people that are listening. Let's see who knocked you out of the Europa League when you were in it.
You tell us.
Tell us.
I'm trying to find out.
I know.
Whilst you guys back and forth, I'll try and find out.
But he only has to do as a fan. He knows. Why don't you just tell me? Wait, who knocked you out?
There's no back and forth.
Don't know.
Mikey doesn't know.
You tell me. You're coming with the funny facts, isn't it?
No, because the reason I'm asking the question is that I bet you any money whoever knocked you out wasn't some superpower known in European club history. So who was it?
I've got the answer.
So this stuff that
Real, what's the answer?
The answer is Arsenal lost to Sporting Lisbon on penalties.
Thank you. Sporting Lisbon. That's what we're talking about here. This is a team where you couldn't know. See what I'm
we're in the
saying?
Champions League this year, just so you know.
Oh my
They
goodness.
weren't in
My
the
point
competition.
remains
What's
in that
your
game
point?
against Sporting Lisbon. In that game against Sporting Lisbon, you'd have been overwhelming favorite. The bottom line is he couldn't get it done again, because when it really matters, he always fails. When it truly matters, you were the favorite in that competition before the ball was kicked. You faced Sporting Lisbon. You should be making it to the next round. They knocked you out.
You're going off on a tangent here. We were in a Champions League semi-final this season. The end.
You still failed.
There were only 14
you were telling us with chest you're going to win it. You're not even in the final.
Relax. There were 4
But
teams
also-
that made the semi-final, and Arsenal were one of them.
Yeah, you got a
Well
bit lucky,
done.
man.
Is that
You
to be
got lucky.
celebrated?
Hmm?
Is that to be celebrated? I mean, for Arsenal, I guess it is.
It's
Yeah,
our
you're-
first semi-final in our history. Are you
you're-
stupid?
Well, yeah.
You got to the final. You got to the final before.
Are you going to let me speak?
And you got to a
Let
final.
me
Correct
talk to you,
correct
'cause
him
you
on that
won.
point.
You don't.
Correct him on that point, because they got to a final under Arsene Wenger.
Correct me on what point?
You said it was your first semi-final.
No, I didn't. I said it's our third.
No, you didn't.
Turn the hearing aid up.
Well, like I said, Mikey, you got to remember what you're bloviating about. You got to remember stuff like, Leipzig made its Champions League semi-finals as well. I mean, these are, if you want to give props to everybody. I don't mind that. But just be consistent is all I ask. Just
I'm
be
never
consistent.
inconsistent. I give props.
I
to all
think
teams
for
that
your
make
level,
semi-finals. Nope, you're being
I think-
inconsistent. I'm being consistent.
No, I genuinely think it's a failure. It's 5 years of failure. That's what it is.
I'm
5
glad you
seasons.
think that. That's your
failure.
opinion. Let's have other people's opinion,
Yes.
because you've spoken too much already.
Okay,
yeah.
my opinion is that I think it's a failure as well. And Tottenham
Go
are
on.
going to better your season.
Given
What's
the
your opinion?
context, bro. Given the context of our season.
The
terms
context
of
of your
what's
season
happened.
is that you started the season. Were your favourites with the bookies this year?
No,
Second
I
favourites.
don't think we were. No, I think Man City were.
second favourites.
Favourites, yeah. So
Yeah.
you started the season second favourites,
And they're going to finish second.
and you're going to finish second
Imagine
behind
that.
behind
Finish where
Liverpool,
you're supposed to.
who weren't second favourites or first favourites.
Yeah.
So that's a failure to me.
Okay. All right. Next, Aki, why is our season a failure? Because your arguments are stacking up here.
No.
Three
for the same
seasons
reasons.
finishing.
Let
Okay, I
Aki
haven't
talk.
finished. No, I haven't finished.
Oh, now
Seasons
you've got
of
the facts, have you? All right.
3 seasons of finishing second. Like, surely the next step to improve upon that is to win, not to come second and then get into a cup semi-final. To me, that's not progress. I mean, for Arsenal, I get it, because in Europe,
Right. You're saying for
I haven't
Arsenal,
finished.
now you're
I
being
haven't
silly,
finished.
because
I
this
haven't
is
finished.
about Arsenal.
I haven't finished.
You're saying
For
Arsenal is a failure, then you're saying for Arsenal. You can't contradict yourself.
Can I finish and let me
You
contradict or
keep
not?
saying it, just finish.
But you're talking over me, so how can I?
I'm waiting.
Okay, so 3 seasons in a row, second place finish in the league. The next step is to win, obviously. But for Arsenal, I can understand how getting to a semi-final of a European trophy, considering you're only your third time, as you said, Mikey, only your third time in your history that you've done that. So I guess that's a plus. But for me, given how long Arteta's been in the job, given we've heard about phases of Arteta and blah, 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 what phase are we in now? I don't know, because it's been a failure as far as I'm concerned. And I've been consistent with that, because for me, I started
That's
the season.
because you don't like Arteta.
I started the season
Being
saying
consistent with it.
I started the season. I started the season saying Arsenal will win the league, and that's what I
And you lost
expected.
your
to
money. That's why you're so annoyed.
happen. I did lose my money. I
Good.
did actually lose my money, Mikey. Again, with your
Good.
flop. I put money on you last year when you went into the lead and you lost at home to Villa,
Good.
and
I'm
I
glad you
lost
lost.
my money. And again this
It
season,
was worth it
losing at
then.
home to West Ham. What is wrong with this team? I don't know. But anyway, Aki, your turn. Arsenal.
Yeah.
Is Arsenal season a flop? A failure?
I think it's a failure, because if you look at the points total versus last season, it's going to be significantly lower. There was heavy investment over the summer, over 100 million. Over 100 million the previous summer. We're talking about £700 million net since Arteta joined. way more than what we spent. We didn't even buy it. I think we bought one player. So if you're going to get far, if you're going to get far in the Champions League, you're going to have to go on to win it or get to the final at least if you want to consider that to be a success. Not getting to the semi-final. You can't be celebrating getting to the semi-final. That's just small club mentality. Honestly, it is a failure for Arsenal because as well, they were the closest challengers to City for the last 2 seasons. City's faltered, so then you'd expect Arsenal to step up to the plate and put in a challenge. And they didn't do that. It's become a procession for Liverpool fans, for Liverpool. So I think knowledgeable Arsenal fans would agree with that take.
So before Craig comes in, I'm sure he will have some comments for this stupidity. But did Liverpool have a bad season last season? Because I recollect them being quite towards the top of the table.
Yeah.
Tell me, bro.
Yeah.
I know you know.
Yeah, we were top of the table, I think, at the start of March, and then we ended up in third.
Right. So were they that
Oh, good
far
season.
off? Were they
Good
that
season.
far off of Arsenal and Man City? Is the question. No, they weren't.
No, probably about 9 points in the end, something like that.
Right. So then you come into this season, and
You're 15 behind us. Yeah.
So we come into this season, and we have players that are injured for patches of 3 months that we didn't have last season.
Yeah, we had that last season.
So exactly, you had that last season, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
When
this
you
season,
get off,
we had Alisson out for about 10 games this season. He's our number 1 goalkeeper.
Good point, Aki. Yeah, we did. Imagine
Salah being out for 3 months this season. Just imagine.
Well,
November. Just imagine October to December. October to December. No. Uche, you had your say. This is about Arsenal. Now it's me and Craig.
This is not an excuses boss. Stop going about injuries. We don't want to hear it.
Listen, if Salah had been out for 3 months between October and December, there would have been an issue for Liverpool. Liverpool have blown away the league. That's fine. But if you're comparing Arsenal season upon season, the one thing you can look at, and it's clear, is that this season we've had a lot more injuries to key players than last season. You can say that you were unfortunate last season and we were fortunate. That's what people did say. You can't then say that we're not unfortunate this season because of the injuries. So that has had an impact.
You didn't buy a striker. You didn't buy a striker. And everyone knew. But everyone knew you needed a striker. You didn't buy one.
Can we have some parliamentary procedure, please?
No. You didn't buy a striker. Even you knew you needed one.
Excuse me. Do you want to get dashed off like Eddie? Yeah? Hey, don't let me have to stop you. No, but coming to the end of this point is there are variables this season that weren't in play last season. Arsenal have fallen off. They should have done better. I think we've dropped points from winning positions, probably the most out of anybody in the league. So there's an issue around management. 21 points that we've dropped from winning positions. We've got way too many draws. You should never have this many draws in a season. I'd rather my team are going out and out for a win rather than getting draws. But it's not a failure.
Sending's off as well.
Again. And yes, I'm not going to use that because then you'll say, "Oh, excuse." I'm just saying, comparing to last season,
I'm using the
injuries to Saka, Odegaard, Havertz, Gabriel, and if we had some of them players, then we would have been doing even better in the Champions League as well.
You were 9 points behind us before you had.
Wait, sorry, Craig. Just before you come in,
let me go.
You were 9 points behind us.
You might have some more ammunition once I say the point. Aki, say that again.
You were 9 points behind us before you started getting injuries.
That's nonsense. We've had injuries all season, you muppet.
Yeah, that's
Were we 9 points behind you when Odegaard was injured?
From the Metro, so we're not listening.
You imbecile. Your stats are worthless.
Yeah, stop talking nonsense, mate. So the season isn't a failure for me, given the context of the season in terms of key injuries to key players at the times they were injured as well. in the important times of that title running or that important time in January where you should have your team together or key players ready to go and push on for the next season. So you got to get some context into it. The key injuries that we've had, we haven't had that before in terms of Saka going out, Jesus going out, Havertz going out, all one by one. Odegaard was out for a period of time. Not to mention all our defenders that went out. So all our defenders went out at certain times as well. So it's not a failure. It's disappointing, of course. It's disappointing, of course. It's disappointing, of course. It's disappointing, of course, in the league because again, we've come in the like context of who we're chasing in the league and what you guys have put forward and the luck that you've had this season. Well done. So how can we compete with that if we've got key injuries, if we've got referees against us? Let's say it how it is. We've had controversial decisions. We've had decisions that don't have to happen. Decisions that don't happen. Even at the okay, wait.
Let Craig speak, please.
Even at the start of the season, we had that whole kicking the ball away and double yellow card for whoever. Has that happened again this season? Just an example.
Has anyone
referees forgot that rules in place now?
Has anyone done that since?
We've been the scapegoats for new rules this season. That's cool. That's fine. But we know what's coming. So my stance on this whole thing is we need to prepare in terms of our squad for what might happen. This might occur again. So we need to build a team that is stacked up now, so we can push forward. And I've told you guys as well. I'm giving Arteta one more season. This is his summer now to get things under control in terms of for all these variables that happen in the season. If he can get that under control, then I'm going to judge it and say, look, Arsenal's failure. It's a failure. But those
he is a failure.
He's not a failure at all. For me, we've had a rough season in terms of the key injuries, and that has played a major part in this season. So I won't say it's been a failure. We've done well to get.
It's a failure.
We got further than you in the Champions League, bro. What are we doing there? Was your Champions League ploy a failure?
I've got a question.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question? I want to
now
ask
it's a failure,
question,
though,
right?
Okay.
It's 5 years, right? 5 years. Yeah. How many cup finals have your club reached in 5 years? Can you tell us, please?
No. It's about this season, thank you.
You're trying tangents here. You're trying tangents here. Can I speak, please?
No tangents are running here.
Context.
How many cup finals in 5 years? 5 seasons. How many cup finals?
It's UJ's time now.
Are we discussing this season or not? What are we doing now?
We've gone somewhere else.
No, I'm talking about it's a failure. And is a continuity of failure. Like
Arsenal season is a failure.
Mikey, let Uche talk now. Let Uche talk.
No.
Yeah, thank you very much, host.
No, because there's a clear
5 years now.
Well, there is because there's 3 against 2. So yes, there is.
Yeah, we're not having it. It's simple.
Yeah, it's 5 narratives. It's been like this all season for the pod.
But I'm a Liverpool fan. What do you want me to do? I'm not backing you.
You should be biased. You should be unbiased, mate.
I am unbiased.
You're supposed to be the host.
And you're not letting Uche speak.
You're unbiased.
You're getting a host, guys.
You're not letting Uche speak. Let the man speak.
Definitely not. Look,
he's not even there. He's had to go through.
He's not even there.
The troubles he had to go to just to get this
when his
to happen.
Off,
let the man speak.
Then you're going to be screwing that.
Time's ticking, man.
Thank you.
Mic down.
So,
back to the
The floor is yours.
Calm down, ladies. Calm down.
That's so unclear.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Wow, this is
like I was saying, 5 years now, five seasons of Arsenal. Yeah, he's been in charge. Yeah, I'm looking at cup finals, right? So I'm looking at it. I can't see anybody. All the cup finals. You got the 2 domestic cups. You got the Champions League.
We need a different title because now you've verged into is Arteta a failure rather than is Arsenal season a failure. This is stupidity.
But these are failure. The continuity of failure.
We either have sections on the show or we don't. Is it a free?
No, but I'm just telling you that.
Let's start talking about Trent. The booing of Trent today.
No problem. Let's focus on this season. The reason I brought that up here was because
why will Liverpool fans booing Trent? That's what I want to know.
Every year you get 4. You got 4 proteins to go for.
So I'm standing left.
Listen, Mikey, I might have to mute your mic. Let the guy speak.
Mute me and I'll drop it.
Okay, you're muted then.
I don't understand why he's so defensive. All I'm trying to say is he doesn't want to talk about the five seasons. That's fine. We'll talk about this season. But every year you are given 4 chances to win something, right? And every year this manager has failed continuously to make a final. So this is the same season with likes of right now this season, Crystal Palace manager has made a final right in front of Arteta's presence. Right?
Someone changed
Ten Hag, who is this? Ten Hag, who is this? Yeah, has made a final in your presence.
In the Europa League. We're not in the Europa League. What are we doing?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter which one. What are you in this season? Okay, no. Okay, I'm telling you. Let's talk about what the ones that you're in. Look, okay, Palace have made a final. You didn't. League Cup final. It was Newcastle against
finished second in the league.
He didn't make the final. In the Champions League, yeah, it's gonna be Inter Milan against PSG. He didn't make that final. And the way he's looking at the moment, right? He might not even get second. He might not even make the Champions League.
Thank you, Uche.
Is that it? That's what we were waiting for.
Wait, that was it. That's what I am telling you. I am because you keep interrupting, and I'm trying to work out. Like I don't understand how you guys can argue that he's not a failure. He continues to fail. So that's 20 trophies that's been available in the last 4 seasons continuously, or 5 seasons now, and he still hasn't made one final. Not even the opportunity to go to a final. Craig has been crying, calling all sorts of people, making bookings everywhere to try to reserve something for a final. Don't lie. The poor guy. Don't lie. Anywhere.
Don't lie.
The guy has. What did you do with your? You know that Craig?
When you made the booking for the Champions League final, what did you do with that? What did you do with that?
No.
Did you get your money with your reservation? Did you get a refund? You got your refund?
No, Craig, let's go back to you've gone to Wembley. I can't believe you've been to Wembley already. And every year you go to Wembley and you never to watch your team. Do you know
he went to Wembley to see your team lose. That's where he went. He went to Wembley to see.
Yeah, but at least
the program.
That's where he went.
No, but he didn't make a final. He can't even go and watch his team in the final. And here we are talking about he's a failure. Come on, guys. How could you even argue this? And he comes to the league and you always come in second when he does not.
If you come third, is it a failure then?
You as second place doesn't matter. That's what we're being told.
No, if you come third, are you a failure then?
I've given my reason.
I'm giving my response as well. I don't know why we're still here.
What? So even if you come third, you can't have success.
Move things like. So I'm chilling.
What the second get you, Aki? Then that third doesn't.
No, that's not what I'm saying. If Newcastle finish above you this season, is that then still a successful season for you guys? Or was that a failure?
Nobody said it's a successful season. That's the problem with you.
Well, then if it's not a failure, it's a success.
No. It doesn't have to be.
What's in the middle then?
We've got to the semi-finals of the Champions League for the 3rd time in our history. That's a success for me in the Champions League.
Wow.
But this is about the season, Mikey.
Right, we're not going to keep going over and over again, are we? Because it'll be pretty silly. No one's going to want to watch it. Just saying.
I mean, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it so far. Okay, let's talk about Arsenal. Since Arsenal season it hasn't been a failure, let's talk about whether or not Arsenal are going to make the Champions League. I think this is a bit provocative with this one.
Really?
Yes.
Yo, it's been like this all season.
It's a bit provocative with this one because they don't need that many points. If they'd won today, apparently they would have qualified for the Champions League. So Uche?
I think they need 2 points, right? And they've got Southampton in the last game of the season. So obviously they're banking on that. But all jokes aside, they're playing Newcastle, and what we saw, they could lose that game, and then it really would be very interesting going forward.
Is it away on the final day?
No, it's at home. It's
at home. I think Craig will be there. So how can you even ask this question, Rob? Craig will probably be there cheering them on.
It's
right. So obviously it's at the Emirates, and he's got a ticket, and he's going there to go and cheer them on. How can you ask these kind of questions? It's terrible from the host.
I'm just trying to clarify.
That's what. Why is it called "Will Arsenal make the Champions League"? What a stupid section. We should be discussing who's going to make the Champions League. But
what do you mean? How is this a silly question? Because you still need points to qualify. You still need points.
What?
You're not even challenging with
So
Liverpool.
you don't think we will then? You don't think Arsenal will make
Yeah,
the
go on.
Champions League? Okay.
I think because you have
prediction.
Southampton, but
Who on here
Southampton
thinks
shocked the
Arsenal
world.
won't make the Champions League?
Southampton shocked the world yesterday and drew with Man City, so they could
So you
also
predict
shock the
Arsenal won't
world
make it?
and get a draw. There's a possibility you could lose to Newcastle and draw with Southampton, and you
So
need
who
2 points
thinks-
from what I understand.
Who thinks Arsenal will not make the Champions League on here?
I just told you what I just told you is a
No,
possibility.
okay.
So
No,
if you
no.
make-
Yes or no?
Well, yes or no?
Sorry, Craig.
Will Arsenal make the Champions League qualification?
Yes, they will. Will they finish in second place? I don't know. That's a different question.
They should do. It'd be
They should do.
a
Are you not committing to it?
monumental
But no one's
catastrophe.
saying we
if they
won't.
don't.
Actually, Craig, will they?
Yeah, we will.
Mikey, yeah.
Don't ask me stupid questions.
You're on the pod. You're on the pod to be asked questions.
I know. No, I'm not asked. I'm not on the pod to be asked stupid questions.
You're on the pod to be asked questions.
Not stupid questions. So
Okay, I won't ask you then. Uche,
no.
no, they won't.
I think I've got a question mark. I think that game at the Emirates is going to be everything. If they lose that game to Newcastle, I don't think they'll make it.
You don't think they'll
I don't
make
think
it?
they'll make it because I think if they lose to Newcastle, I don't think they'll make it. Southampton, last game of the season, they're gonna do a madness and they're gonna because again they need to win that game. I was watching the Man City game, and in all intents and purposes, you think that game should be an easy win? It wasn't. They drew.
Who is gonna make it instead of them then?
What do you mean? Who's gonna make it? You know what kind of question is that? Have you looked at the table? What
What do you mean?
Is this guy having a laugh or something?
3 teams have to go above us. So
The answer is right in front of your eyes. You got
Uche,
Newcastle,
Arsenal.
Manchester City, Chelsea. Huh?
If it's not Arsenal, so
You got-
Arsenal,
you got-
so Arsenal would have to drop to 7th.
Nah, that's a
What
six.
do you mean drop to 7?
Yeah, go on, straight face, go on.
What do you mean drop to
Which
7?
three
You didn't
teams are
study the
gonna-
table.
Isn't it? Is it not top 6?
Nah, top 5 and then Europa League.
Five.
winners.
No,
Okay.
it's not 5, man.
So they'd have to drop to 6.
Top
So
5.
you're saying one
Yeah.
of Forest, who can't even beat Leicester, Villa, Chelsea, Man City, Newcastle are going to finish.
Wait. You're scoffing, right?
Forest
You
are out of
scoffed.
it, by the way.
Was
You
that
just
Mikey?
scoffed, didn't you?
Forest are out of it.
Uche, sorry, what are you saying?
I said you were just scoffing just now. What do you mean they're out? Oh yeah, so I suppose they can't catch you. Like I said, Villa
Look at the table.
can do
Forest
it.
can't
They're
catch
in
us.
very good form at the moment. Yeah, they can't
Forest
catch you
can't
because you're right because you've
Forest
got a
can't
point.
catch Arsenal.
Yeah, they can't catch them because they got the point. When they were losing, they could, but they obviously got the draw at Anfield, so Forest can't catch them. So they got a bit of a leeway, but you still got the other 2 teams that could still do it. You got Villa and you got Chelsea, who can still overtake them. And like I said, Newcastle will beat them. And then if that happens, they're gonna be demoralized. I'm telling you, this could be a thing. There's a possibility. I can't believe when I was really thinking about it, I genuinely thought it was bad. But when I looked at the whole situation, this is a terrible situation for Arsenal Football Club to be in. They've been dropping points left, right, and centre in the last few weeks. Literally can't get a win. I think it's the last 4 games they haven't won any games. You're not exactly on fire, are you? So why are you guys coughing and smiling like you're on form? You're not on form. It's like
You're
not
sounding
actually
like a
playing.
madman. Well, keep going.
No, because you're collecting points. Okay, I sound like a madman. So this is your last resort. You've done what? Draw, win, draw, lose, draw. Does that sound like a team that's chasing anything worth tangible? Are these intentional draws and losses? No. Like, let's not be about bush. You're playing against an informed team, Newcastle. Come in there, they could give you a game. If they win that game, they go above you, and you're gonna be in trouble. But obviously, if you win that game, it's curtains. You got your Champions League, and I'll be first up here to congratulate Craig and Mikey.
We don't want your
Surely
congrats.
we
mate.
can't beat Newcastle if we can't beat Southampton.
I said it's a game, right? If you win the game, it's over. But if you lose the game, it's on. That's what I literally said.
No, it's ifs, buts, maybes. No.
Yeah, of course it is. Because remember, you were doing if buts and maybes earlier.
No,
Because
you said
it's
no,
of
no, no.
pathetic injuries. Do you know what I mean? Well, look at them. This is the same thing they were doing when it came to the Champions League. They were bringing out chest. They're gonna make the final. Oh, this is the. Look at them now. Yeah, we're gonna be watching Champions League final. Are they there? No. The same thing. Craig is smiling, scoffing. Watch him next week. If Newcastle do a mad thing, I ain't gonna be smiling no more. The smiles are gonna disappear. Next minute, you guys be looking up Southampton team sheet, wondering if who's gonna play and who's gonna bang them up. Archer is coming for you, man.
Just
Archer,
congratulate us next pod, mate. That's all that matters.
Archer is coming for you.
Who?
Is it Cameron Archer?
Yeah.
In fairness to Uche, I mean, I think us, as I've said, Arsenal are gonna make the Champions League. But in fairness to Uche, you are going into this period having not won a league game since April, which was against Ipswich. You've drawn against Brentford, lost to Palace, drew against Palace, lost to PSG, home and away, lost at home to Bournemouth, and then drew today. So you're not exactly going into a game against Newcastle, who seem to be your arch nemesis this season. And they are they on form? Kind of, I guess. So in fairness to Uche, he has got a small point, in my view, that it could be squeaky bum, but obviously you're playing Southampton, so that just negates everything.
Well, like I said, the reason
why
why it jumped out at me was Southampton. Honestly, I was watching that game. I know it's not available to you guys at the other end, and everything from kickoff pointed to a straight up slap, right? And I had to watch a game where I can't explain how Southampton got a point. I generally can't explain it. One team was playing, the other was existing.
They weren't trying to score.
Was that?
They spent the whole first half just retaining the ball.
I know, but it was such high possession, and they were having shots, and I just feel like
they barely had a shot in the first half.
No, but no matter how many times you look at it, Mikey, yeah, that is not that result should never have happened. Is how I see it. No matter which way, what angle.
But guess what? Man City have only scored 1 goal against Southampton in 2 games this season.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. So that could happen to you.
Man City. Yeah.
That could happen to you. The last game of the season, you just lost to Newcastle. You know what?
I'm so distraught that we're going to have Southampton last game of the season to confirm things. I'm so distraught. I wish it was Liverpool.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they're at home, and it's going to be a nice send off for their fans. I don't know if you've been to St. Mary's. St. Mary's is quite an intimidating place. Let's be honest, it doesn't take much to intimidate Arsenal players. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't take much to intimidate Arsenal players, does it? What do you mean, don't be silly? You were saying it with chest. Look at you now. They're
getting smoked. Stop being silly.
They're getting smoked. No, the reason why I think you're confident, the honest, my personal take, if we're gonna do a prediction, is that I genuinely think Arsenal will get the point against Newcastle. But if the scenario I'm painting happens, Arsenal ain't winning. I ain't beating Southampton.
Wow, what a waste of time this has been.
So, do you know what's been a waste?
You painted the scenario, then you told us you actually think we're going to get a point against Newcastle. What?
Do you know what's been a waste of time, Mikey? Your season. That's been a waste of time. That's been a waste of time. Your season, your entire season has been a total waste of time. That's what a waste of time. That's what it is. All that supporting, going up and down, support. That was the waste of time. That's what that is. A total waste of time. Bunch of wastemen coming here, being chest. We're gonna make the final. That's tough, man. I get out, man. What you talk about finals? Finals where? The only finals you guys are gonna make, man, is in your heads. Next topic, host.
Next topic. We're gonna move on to
Code of Honor. We ain't doing the main. Where's the proper topic here?
Trent got booed.
Yeah, that's the one.
Nah, but let's do it in chronological order. Guard of Honor.
Are we doing this? Because I'm gonna start taking over.
You can't. You literally can't.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with it?
Guard of Honor.
What's to discuss here?
All right, we're doing this then.
Guard of Honor.
What's to discuss?
So there isn't actually. So I'm glad to Trent.
Nothing here to discuss.
I'm glad the Trent got booed. So Trent came on.
I can't believe.
I think that obviously Slot is new to this country, he's new to Liverpool. I think he probably wasn't expecting what happened to happen to that extent.
Was you expecting that to happen? Because we had a chat in the group chat the other week, and you couldn't identify any Liverpool fans that were upset. You said there was a sort of maybe a low number of Liverpool fans that felt a certain way, and I was telling you there isn't, because it's all over social media that half of your fan base were pretty disgusting about Trent leaving and were being pretty nasty to him. So I'm guessing you had your sound on for the match and you heard the boos.
We also had someone at the match.
What are we doing now?
We also had someone at the match, Craig, not just from through the TV. Okay. We had someone at the match as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was the question?
Who was at the match?
Make some excuses for your Liverpool fans again.
For your fan base.
We had someone we know, Uche and I know. In fact, you know him, Mikey, was at the match. So
booing, yeah?
No, of course not. Of course not. Of course not. See, the thing with what I said last time we spoke about this is that obviously the boos are the ones you're going to hear the most. That's just a matter of fact. The people who are not supporting are the ones you're going to hear the most. I personally was disappointed, not by when he came on, because there was a bit of boos, there was a bit of clapping.
When he touched the ball.
Can I get to that bit? Or
go.
Yeah. So
I'm assisting you.
I don't need any assists. I'm good.
Donkey.
So when he first came on, there was a bit of booing, there was a bit of clapping. When I think it was his third touch, then it was loud. And that disappointed me because it gives people like you stuff to talk about. But at the same time, if you go around this group, there is different views around Trent leaving Liverpool. Some people are going to express it as clapping. Some people are not going to say anything. If I was at the match, you will never find me booing any of my players. I don't even boo opposing players, let alone my own. That will never happen from me. I don't agree with booing a player that's playing for your team. Arsenal will know all about that, of course, because certain players got booed to the point when they started crying on the pitch. So Arsenal fans will know all about booing. But for me, I was disappointed with the booing. What I will say, though, which conveniently might get skipped out, is that after the first set of booing, you equalised. When he was taking the free kick, the booing had stopped by then. So it's a mixed bag. Some of the fans are unhappy and they'll express it by booing. Other fans will clap. Other fans will say nothing. That's just the reality of football. So there we are. Uche, what do you think?
I think it's sad. I really do. If someone gives 20 years of their life to a club, and that's how you're treated, then fair enough. But I can't go against people that boo. I will never do it. But I personally just think it's sad. All the guy's done is made a professional decision that he wants, new challenge. I don't agree with it. I think he should have tried to stay because he's in the best team that, makes him the most influential player he can be. Going somewhere else, he's going to find something completely different. Genuinely, I don't think he's going to be successful. I do not see a scenario where Trent is successful at that club. I really don't. But at the same time, if that's the decision he wants to make, good luck to him. Someone gives you 20 years of their life doing the best they can do. There is no question in my mind that Trent loves, being a Liverpool player and a Liverpool fan. And that's not the right way to go about treating people who have given so much to the club to get you to where you are. However, it is what it is. They are entitled to do or express their views. So let them do what they do.
And Aki, I don't know whether you are on the side of booing or not booing, but what did you think about his reception today? And do you think as well, as a follow-up, do you think that he should start another or play again for us going forward?
I probably wouldn't boo myself, but I can definitely understand the sentiment.
Probably or wouldn't, Aki?
I wouldn't boo.
Okay, just checking.
Well, probably wouldn't boo, but I do understand the betrayal and the feelings and the sentiment behind it, because that's what it feels like. It feels like he kind of led the club along. He could have possibly told the club last summer they wanted to go, and then that way we can get some money for him. In terms of should he play for the remainder of the season, I'd argue probably not, actually. I think we need to give Conor Bradley a run of games now if he's going to be the person to take over. And so, yeah, I'd probably start Conor Bradley for the remaining 2 games.
And Mikey, obviously you're an outsider and you've got very strong views about Trent as a player, and also we've had chats in our group chats and on here about how you think Liverpool fans treat him. But as an outsider, what did you think of the situation? Did you feel sorry for Trent, or do you understand where some fans might be in that?
I think it's
view?
disgusting, to be honest. I think if he, I think that Liverpool fans' view of him over periods of time, even when he's excelled, has been polarized. And more so outside fans look in and see the number of assists, see the creation, and see the good things he does. And he's definitely going to be a miss. I disagree that he's not going to be a success at Madrid. I think he can be. And I think that the Liverpool fans' views probably played a part in his move. And I think that there's never going to be a time when a player is going to just outrightly say he's leaving a year in advance. The biggest indication you've got is that you haven't agreed a contract. And at that point in time, the club need to make a decision on what they're going to do as a business. You should never let a player get to the last stages unless you're willing to let him leave for nothing. Your manager's decision not to play him kind of makes logical sense in terms of if he sees Conor Bradley as a potential option for next season, then he should play. Trent is definitely the number one fullback at your club. And so if you actually needed to win, I think he would play. But you don't need to win because everything's done and dusted. And so he can leave him on the bench and bring him on like he did today.
Yeah, I think I think all of that is fair. And like I said at the start, I think maybe Slot. Well, what Slot said after the match was that his job is to win games. He brought Trent on because he wanted to win the game. But like you said, we don't need to win any. We don't need to win the game. I personally think it's going to be a distraction going forward. If every single time he steps on the pitch, it's will they, won't they? So for me, I think, and the fact that he's leaving anyway, there's no positive outcome to be gained from putting Trent in that position going forward, given that he's not going to play for us next season. So whoever's going to be playing right back, whoever's going to be playing right back, I'll come to you in a sec, Uche. Whoever's going to be playing right back isn't going to be Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's going to be someone else. So let's look at that someone else and see what they can do there. Sorry, Uche, go on.
No, I'm just saying, like, it really depends how you view this game. I view club football as professionals. We all know whether right now they know who they want to turf. So let's say, for example, Nunes, right? I know probably in his head, let's just assume that Nunes is not going to kick a ball again for Liverpool next season because I'm going to sell him eventually, right? You're still going to use Nunes because Nunes is at your club right now. Trent is at the club. If you want to play football, of course you start with Bradley. But Trent comes on, last 30 minutes, 20 minutes, and could win you the game. You use that. Like you said, I don't see any issue wrong with that, at all. What's the point of it? But at the same time, you can say don't play the two games. My concern is actually deeper than that. I don't think this dude that is coming on is just unfair on the kid. I just think it's not right. I really hope the club addresses it and try to buy another right back that can be helping Bradley to mature, because that's my biggest danger. But he plays or not, I really don't think you can say that, because people leave at the end of the season many times for football clubs, and he's never affected how we view them. If you need someone, he's still at your club, they're still getting paid, play them. If you think it's going to help you win football matches, which is what professionals are there. They're all professionals. So play them, but obviously start with Bradley because you want to see how he applies the game. The problem with these kind of games is that, as you know, Rel and Aki, is that no matter how much you play, when you have nothing to play for, I don't read into stuff. That's why I don't watch. I've said this many times. That's why I don't watch preseason friendlies. You can extrapolate all you want. Nothing, when there's nothing to play for, how the player performs just sounds good. It's not really that.
Yeah.
For me, it's all optics, though. I think that the manager wants to keep everybody on side. I think there's a big kind of Liverpool push for having the youngsters coming through, the local youngsters, and Conor Bradley not starting now is a bigger thing than Trent starting. And you can kind of see that in the media with the Liverpool Carragher. He's completely pushing the narrative. and he's obviously got it from somewhere. He's local to the area. And so I think it's more of he kind of has to play Conor Bradley now. But for me, I don't even think Conor Bradley's good enough for you guys. And you should be buying a right back. And Conor Bradley should be back up to that right back. But maybe that's a topic for another podcast.
Yeah, I completely agree with that because I think he's unfair on the child. I think the kid is mega talented, but what you're trying to replace, well, I just say good luck. You're just a little bit, I want to say delusional to think that guy's going to come in and be whatever Trent is. However, the guy's talented, so maybe there's something we can work over the summer. Maybe some things you can try to improve to try and get to the level. But the level that we're at now, I just think he sticks out, just like Robertson currently sticks out in this team, and not in a good way.
You know what? I was watching him today, and he looked like a right-sided Robertson to me. And
yes, no, he's put some decent performances, but we have been linked with Frimpong from Leverkusen.
Yep,
he's got like a £30 million.
There's been strong links. There's been strong links,
he's
but
more of a winger, man.
Exactly.
Right. He's a right back.
He's wing back. He plays wing back for Leverkusen, but I've never seen him play right back. So I don't know.
This season, he was in the preseason game. He was right wing. I think he's more suited to a right midfield position to myself. But yeah,
I agree with Craig. I think we definitely have to change how we play, and that's why I didn't want Trent to leave, because why would I, weaken my team when I don't have to? But he decided to leave. We have to deal with it. So it's no one's fault. If next season we don't do what I expect us to do, we can't blame anyone. The guy wanted to leave. What can you do? But I would never sell a player like that in a million years, because why would I weaken my team? It's just so much harder to find that quality else in the market. It just is. Nobody can play like Trent. Like, that's why Trent is Trent. He's different. He's not, like I say, he plays in the right back position. When your right back position is one of the most creative players in your team for 5 years, going on since, I think, after his debut season, either in the top 3 or 4. Sorry,
it's not just in your team, it's in the Premier League.
Yes, not just in your team, but in the whole league, and consistently. That is not something you're going to find in the market as a right back. The guy technically still plays at right back position, and he's bringing out with those kind of ridiculous stats that make no damn sense to anybody. Yep. So that's what I'm upset. I'm also upset about, because I think for you to change the way you play, I'm never going to expect Conor or anyone else coming in to bring out those kind of numbers. Those numbers were ridiculous and will forever stay ridiculous. They can never be achieved by another player. So what you have to do is change your style and do it a different way. You have to get your midfielders and someone else to do it. We have done it before. That's just life. You have to try and adapt. But the version of Liverpool that we've been used to since Trent is there, for me, ends with Trent. And we just have to think of Liverpool in a different way. That's the best way to sort of give him his adulation and props. That's why I didn't want him to leave under any circumstances, sort it out and let him stay. But he wanted to leave, so good luck to him. And on the point, Mike, when I said he's not going to do well at Madrid, don't forget, I always qualify what I try to say. Madrid is not one of those. They're not your Arsenal, yeah? They're not there to be also run. They're not there to go 1 or 2 seasons without winning. Real Madrid exists for winning and winning only. So when I qualify that, he's coming to a club that only does Champions League and league titles. So if he spends 4 years, I'm expecting at least 2 Champions League and 2 league titles. And when you don't get that, that's what I mean by saying I don't see him, reaching those heights. So we're not comparing it to the likes of you lot who just, say that this season is a success when you don't.
It's kind of like a cheap shot that you're trying to throw, but your qualification for success for Madrid is just skewed anyway. Because
but that's how it is.
They don't win one in every 2 Champions Leagues.
Well, that's what they've been doing, though. That's what I'm saying.
They had a run. No. What's success for Trent? That's what it is. Success for Trent.
That's what I'm saying. That's what okay. Jude is going into what? How many?
Sorry, they said that again, Mikey. Success for Trent is
going there and winning. It's not winning every season. He will win league titles.
Not win every season.
Listen, he will win league titles there. That's a fact. Champions League, he will win. I'm convinced.
That's what I'm saying, Mike.
Madrid win the Champions League.
Yeah. Yes. So that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying in that situation, if you go more than 2 seasons without winning, do you see what I'm saying? That's all I was trying to qualify by that. If you go to 2 or more, once he goes to the 2nd season or more and you don't drop a Champions League or a league in that, no matter what the excuses are, that is not what you're there to do. That's what I meant by that. Because that's what comes with the job.
And currently, they're not really looking like a team that is going to win Champions League. They lost today in the El Clasico 4-3. Barcelona are running away with the league at the moment. So I think the other thing to note as well with Real Madrid is that they're kind of a team in transition as well, because obviously the manager's leaving and they're getting in Alonso, apparently. And apparently Alonso is looking to play 3-4-3 as well. So Trent will be playing right wing back, similar to what the guy that Frimpong was talking about earlier plays. Will that suit Trent's game? I don't think so, personally. I don't think so. I mean, he's played there for England and he's looked woeful. That's fair
England,
to say.
though. Come on.
It is England, but at the same time, Trent will have to change his game. I don't really actually, to be fair, I don't actually know exactly how Leverkusen under Alonso played that right-sided player, whether or not he drifts inside or if he's just hugging the touchline. So, but if he's hugging a touchline, I don't really see that as Trent's game at the moment. So we'll see.
Yeah, but you know what? That whole thing is going to be interesting, then, because where do kind of all of their stars end up
after they play?
In that system?
Yeah.
So
it'll be interesting. I mean, part of the reason why, obviously, the talk at the time was Alonso was our favourite to take over from Klopp. The talk at the time was that he wasn't going to leave Leverkusen for us, and he wanted to stay another season. However, there was.
I told you I'd switch those lights off, Uche. Don't play with me.
Let Uche live, man. But part of the talk as well, which was also behind why we apparently didn't go for Amorim, is because of the 3-4-3 formation, and it meant too many changes in terms of transfers for us. So, like you said, Mikey, it puts a question mark over where certain players are going to play. Apparently, Rodrigo is already one of the ones whose names is looking to be someone who leaves the club this summer. Someone we've also been linked with. I'm not really sure why, given he plays on the right-hand side. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the summer brings. But going back to the original point about Trent, and just to mention, for those of you watching online, please do get involved in the comments. If you've got any questions for us, then please drop them in. We got one comment from Mamtasef, saying it's understandable the booing, it's an emotional sport, which is true, but I understand why Trent did what he did. I think that kind of speaks to Uche's point earlier about Trent making a professional decision for himself. I was listening to Carragher after the match, and he was saying about how, if as a local person, as a local boy, it's a difficult thing to do, making decisions for yourself when you live in a city like Liverpool. And he made decisions not for himself when he was at Liverpool. And similarly, you could argue Gerrard did the same.
But sorry, just to
whether that's a good or bad thing, I'm not saying it.
Carragher also qualifies it by saying he wasn't good enough to be in a position where he had those options.
Yeah, and he said he also
got the McManamans previously that also made some decisions for themselves. Also, it's a lifestyle thing as well. It's life, isn't it? Like, if you want to experience different things, why put yourself in a closed box when you have options?
I think that option is not available for many, and that's the key point. That's why I've always thought, if that's what he was always wanted to do, there's only one club he was always going to join. It's one of those weird situations. Not only do you have literally no other option, but if you want to stay in elite club football, the only option was this club. And this club seems to always take liberties because people always gravitate towards them. Because if you take this club out of the way, I can't see him going anywhere else. Because
Sorry, who will be next in line? Saliba.
Yes.
If it isn't Konate,
they're already talking about that. Though.
If it isn't Konate,
it definitely won't.
Yeah, and also, I'm sure you guys read about the whole strategy that they're now doing because of the transfer fees being so expensive. They clearly get into these people because it's easy to get contact without the right routes, and they're basically trying to convince you to run down your contract because it's easier for you to come through on a free than for them to be paying ridiculous amount of money. This is what they do.
Allegedly.
So good luck. Allegedly, yeah, of course, allegedly.
They've been doing it for years. Allegedly, they've been doing it for years.
Bro.
yeah,
They got Rudiger, Mbappe, now Trent. Like,
they
come
come for
on,
us, man.
how much should those players have cost?
Yeah,
Exactly.
You can't.
And also, I'll be honest with you guys, bro. I think I mentioned this to Real, maybe going off a bit of a tangent, but when I used to travel around Europe and go to some of these cities, I tried to make a habit of, doing the tours of the clubs, which I actually haven't done for Liverpool, funny enough. And I've got to be honest, man.
Wait.
How
Uche,
you even admit that,
got
bro?
that in there, and then just
Europe.
haven't done it
It's
for
not
Liverpool.
just called being honest. No, it's just called being honest. That's what it's called. It's just called being open and transparent.
Nah, you should have kept that one to yourself, mate.
No, but it just is what it is. I said I've been to obviously go to the games, but basically you know how it is, right? For me to go all the way up there, either I book on a different day and stuff like that. I'm just gonna go around to it. Whereas if you're in a city, you're in a city for the whole weekend, and I always squeeze it out. Back to the original point.
Liverpool.
I keep saying it. When you now do the tours of these places,
I've been in Liverpool for a weekend with you. You were there, Mikey.
yeah. Well, let's put it this way. During those younger days, let's just say that we wanted to explore.
All right, let's leave that.
Anyway.
back on topic.
No, I'm talking about museums. I'm talking about the Beatles. There's other things I was doing. That's what I was trying to say. I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, name me a Beatles song right now. Name me a Beatles song right now.
What's that got to do with history? Is history? What do you mean? Can I remember every museum I've been to? Like, what kind of question is that? But I'm like, honestly, I never went around to it. Obviously, I know, but if you go to the history of this club, I think there's a pool that is beyond words sometimes when you see what they have done and achieved. And I think it keeps coming back. Even some people like English players, like Trent, I never thought it would affect them. Like, why is Trent even considering going to this club after all that, after being so successful at the club that he plays for? So yes, he wants to change, and yes, he wants to be successful. But it's clearly that draw that still draws these professional players to go to this club. There's something there. And as annoying as it is, it definitely annoys me because it's one of the clubs I can't stand. But there is something there and keeps bringing people to go to join this club. Because let's be honest, none of us have it. I used to think that Manchester United have it. They clearly don't have it in that degree. Do you know what I'm saying? Whether it's the weather or whatever, a combination of things, Madrid always have it. And Barcelona definitely has it as well. Not many other clubs you could say. I mean, Bayern Munich has it for German fans. Yeah. I'm talking about the global pool of players who want to, their dream or somewhere within them, they want to go to this club. So once that call comes in, it's totally different. So while Carragher can talk all this stuff, the bottom line is, like Mikey said, they were not interested in going and, interested in signing Carragher. So he can't be put in that situation to make that decision. And that's just the bottom line. And yes, I don't put out that thing up because my brother.
I was going to, but I was going to. I thought, nah. Okay, so yeah, all right. Well, we'll end the pod there. It's been an interesting week. Arsenal fans, this time last week, you were hopeful of getting into the final Champions League. Didn't happen, unfortunately. Your manager said you were the best team in Europe. Yeah, we'll see. But sorry, wrong one. So anyway, we're gonna end the pod there. I wanted
to say something to Arsenal fans because obviously I missed the pod last time. Especially to Craig and Mikey and a few of the Arsenal fans that we know that follow this pod. It's really unfortunate. I was saddened by the news when you guys got knocked out. Commiserations.
Why does Uche get these monologues, bro? Even when
I don't understand. We don't get that time.
You guys, wait. Let Uche do his thing. Wait, Mikey. Wait, Craig. Let Uche do his thing.
The only reason why I got Mikey, to address your question. Mikey, to address your question, like I said, the only reason I had this opportunity to talk is because I wasn't here in the last pod, as you know. So I wanted to just have this to say. That was all. It was not a beef. It's not a thing. Again, I'm addressing Mikey and CT. Commiserations on the season. And just remember, it's always next season.
Hey, how'd you do that?
This guy, stop him talking. Let's go, man. Wrap this up.
All right, I'm done.
Mikey, last words.
I Can't believe we didn't make any signings in January.
that's the reason why the season's been a failure. All right, everyone, people watching, we're going to try and do more lives as well. So coming up in our future episodes, we're going to try and do some more lives so you can get involved live on the comments. If you've got questions for us, topics you want us to discuss, then do so. But otherwise, we'll see you next week. And don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on our socials, TikTok and Instagram. See you guys next week, and we are out.
Yeah.